ver, deja de tomarles una foto acá a la porra.
All week, the desert wore a different mood. There was rain in Indio, heavy skies over the Empire Polo grounds, and trainee sessions under gray clouds. And now, the storms have cleared. The mountains are sharp against the blue California sky, and the pitch is pristine. The final morning of the Coachella Valley Invitational feels less like a preseason and more like a reveal. Because this isn't the final tune-up, it's the final impression. Depth charts are unsettled, starting jobs are unclaimed. For some, this is about rhythm. For others, it's about survival. One more 90 minutes to separate from the back, one more chance to show you belong when the regular season lights flip on in a few weeks. As the Portland Thorns and the Houston Dash Here in the finality of the Coachella Valley Invitational, Jonathan Rifkin with you, our entire crew on hand. A gorgeous day. Could not have asked for better conditions. 63 degrees, sunny skies, fans lathering up sunscreen. No vitamin D pills needed as everybody is getting it in its natural form. The Portland Thorns lost last week to Angel City. Houston Dash lost to Bay City. Both teams looking for a bit of momentum as they hit the end of the preseason here. The Dash in the baby blues, the Thorns in the pinks and white. Here's the first spurt for Portland, and on the cross it goes far side. Two teams that matched up in the final regular season match last year, and it was the Dash who were on the wrong side of the result. Dash ended up in 10th place in the NWSL, missing the postseason by 2 spots. Meanwhile, Portland finished 3rd in the regular season and were able to make it to the semifinals before being eliminated. Of course, some turnover in Portland as well after they announced the departure of Rob Gale in November. Interim head coach Sarah Loden takes over. She managed the Houston Dash back in 2023, known as a defensive-minded specialist and somebody who's looking to get the edge against her former club here. Of course, remember the 2022 season for Portland, their most recent title, the third of three, the only team in the NWSL to have claimed 3 titles. Houston is head by Fabrice Goutra in his 2nd season with the Dash. He was hired from the North Carolina Courage, making his return to Southern California. He's a Santa Clarita native, 10th head coach in club history. Nice turnout here on a 63-degree morning. Denver and San Diego fans scurrying in to watch the opener of this one before making their way over to Field 2 for that one at 12:30. First of 2 on this field, as well as Angel City will take on Seattle Reign in the final match of the weekend. Houston Dash playing in that 4-3-3. We saw it last week as well. They had Campbell in goal. They start with her as well. She was pulled for Delisle at halftime. You'll see the rotation of subs, right? This is one of those preseason tournaments where you're not going to play everybody for all 90 minutes. You want opportunities for the trialists, for players who have re-signed for a year, for players who are back on loan, or players that you're hoping to find reasons to institute onto your roster, as different coaches envelop different identities, whether it's youth, whether it's a veteran core, whether it's pace and pressure or control, as you see the Portland Thorns playing with here. So Maddie Kudelsky on the right back side, actually right mid side for Portland.
Is that better?
But a dispel gives the Dash back possession.
Oh, okay.
Sproughton gets it back on the throw-in, and she's immediately dispossessed. It'll stay with her. She had her hands full last week for this organization. Italian defender throwing it in once again. Great swipe here as Portland will force another disruption. This is a Thorns team that is looking for possession to build from the back. You can see the Dash trying to pressure in the front 4. Clanky slides it up the touchline, ball cross short post, and it's almost handled in goal before it's punched away. Turns into a goal kick here. First opportunity for Morgan Messner in goal, the Drexel Hill, Pennsylvania native and a former Penn State Nittany Lion. Started her career at Boston University. Familiar as a trialist to roster spot earner. Back in 2023, she was the Chicago preseason invitee. Awarded a contract, moved over to San Diego. And then joined Portland as a non-roster invitee last year and was signed in March. And she debuted with that clean sheet in the CONCACAF Women's Championship 3rd place match against Club America. And she has been extended through the new season, so she's going to get the start here back in goal. This is a team with depth at the goalkeeper position. She wants to earn her spot as the team's placeholder in between the posts. Nice move by Boatien for some possession. You could see pressure being mounted towards the middle by Portland. They have no problem with that defensive line maintaining control for Houston. This is what Portland wants. They want these long balls, but you have to be able to cut them off for some errant possessions That's the give and take of this kind of defense. Houston could get on a breakaway in a moment. Before you know it, they're tickling the twine for the match's first goal. 5 minutes into the action, fans continuing to trickle in. One of the premier preseason invitationals here in the nation. Third week of a incredible month leading up to the NWSL season. It's really the second week for these NWSL teams. Seattle Reign did not play last week, but they will play later on today. These two teams took losses last week. Bay FC got the better of the Houston Dash despite a late match effort by the team. Ended up dropping that one 2-1. Portland fell on a 2-1 result to Angel City FC. Team in pink looking for a move. Rainer Reyes, the defender from Alabama. She's from Garland, Texas, went to Alabama, slides one up. It's off the chest of Podolski. She'll track it down, cross it into the middle, and then it's cleared away by Clanky. Couple of fantastic defenders battling it out. Leah Clanky, the Houston native. Great to see her in her home Powder Blues today. Went to Notre Dame. She played 78 matches for the Fighting Irish. One of the Dash's more important young signees. She was a first-team All-American in South Bend a season ago. First corner of the match coming here for Portland. Far post, middle side, headered out for a moment. Still dangerous as bodies collide. Possession still settles here at midfield. And a good box out will bring the Dash to a goal kick. Houston finished 10th last year in the regular season. They played Portland in the final match of the regular season. Ended up dropping that one 2-0. And it's a team who's still continuing to emphasize its young core and try to build the veteran depth around it.
Yeah.
Of course, Coach Gotra has an emphasis on defensive structure, and you'll see that here. They'll play the wide sides well. They'll try to compress the middle defensively and force Portland into compromising situations. So we'll see a goal kick for Jane Campbell. Kennesaw, Georgia native, went to Stanford. She was the 2023 NWSL Goalie of the Year. She was also the best 11 after playing every minute of that season. Led the league in saves and goals allowed. She tied the NWSL season save goal record with 12 against Kansas City last season. And she is signed through 2027 with that 2028 option. Somebody who is going to give teams fits this season. She's done it time and time again, but it comes down to the offense. Can she be rewarded by her attack, which has been the Achilles heel for this Dash team since their best effort in 2022. That was a club best 4th place finish. It was their most balanced year statistically. They had 35 goals for and 27 allowed, but they lost in the first round of the postseason. Hoping for an emblematic season in terms of the top 4 result, but maybe a better finish in the postseason. Goal kick, ball pinging around midfield. It's going to settle with Houston. Campbell has no problem jumping out of position. She finds Clanky, and it'll be hot potato between the two. Now a far side push. Sun beaming down here on field 1. Despite the 63-degree stat on the temperature gauge, feels closer to 70, 73 with the direct sunlight. Heavy touch, snared and put back towards the midfield touch line. Throw-in coming here for Houston. Dash playing with, it's a 4-3-3 look, but they're really playing with a 1 down there on the defensive side, sort of in the middle, so they're trying to add an extra defender to help build up the attack. Possession is turned over on the touch. Continuity is key here in building up their early moments. Saw Yasmin Ryan with the tough touch. Norman, Oklahoma native at midfield for Houston. And you can see the pressure. As soon as the ball finds that midpoint line, that's when the Thorns are looking to provide the press. They'll let the Dash build up to that point, then they'll try to force the quick turnover, get the defense on their back heels, and hope for a counter that can turn into a goal. that quintessential Portland Thorns style that brought them 3 different titles in the NWSL, including the inaugural one back in 2013. Incredible fan base, incredible location. I will say that February in Portland's a little bit different than in Indio, which is why I'm sure they're happy to be here. Midfield throw-in. It's a little heavy on the touch to Olivia Moultrie. She's somebody they're going to try and work into the mix a little bit more consistently, hopefully today, than they did last week. Dash, though, on the move into the attacking third. Not much doing there after the clear away. And this is where continuity needs to build. Once you get to the attacking third, don't let pressure and passing lane defense snuff out any potential opportunities into the box, as it just happened right there. Portland plays the passing lane so well, they recognize that Houston wants to set up above the box. They want cutters inside and try to get that far post cross in. Lanky on the touch. Operating in space right now, slides it out left. Latin couldn't keep it in play, and a throw-in coming for the Thorns. Last week it was a 2-0 lead for Bay FC against the Dash until a 67th minute score was able to provide a silver lining for Houston. It was Mackenzie Rubby, who had the goal, the Chino Hills, California native. Of course, Houston operating the attack right now with Kate Fossa, the rookie out of Phoenix, and the 2024 Herman Trophy winner, which was the nation's top collegiate player at the University of North Carolina. So we'll see if Fossa can get featured a little bit more there on the attack, wearing number 23. Gonna push in the back, is gonna draw the whistle. Maggie Graham getting called for it, the second-year midfielder out of Duke. Signed her first pro contract last year on a 3-year deal with Houston. And a free kick awarded to Portland. Bays brings it back to goal, and this is where the buildup should start for Portland. You could see a bit more of a width utilization here for the Thorns. They're trying to use the entire touchline to touchline edge, build up the opportunity. You got runners on both sides, and this is where they can really become dangerous. Ball slid into the middle, but a little heavy on the touch. That's the perfect buildup that you're looking for if you're Coach Sarah Loden. Able to split the D, forcing 2 on the back line to meet in the middle, allowing the pocket to open up, but the ball was just a little heavy into the box. But those are the kinds of buildups you're looking for here in preseason matches. Where is continuity shown? Where can it be increased? Where can it maybe end up working against you, right? When a player tries a little too much to get others involved when there's space for them to do it themselves. We saw an end-to-end goal last week in Portland's match. That was Renee Lyles who got the team on the board in the 89th minute with that solo run. And sometimes that's the difference maker. So as much as continuity is needed as a unit, individual continuity matters just as much. Dash on the move, ball crossed up above the box. Touched off the left knee of Ryan, and then tracked down for a moment by the Thorn. Tackle made, and possession is ceded here. Patty Podolsky with a heavy tackle to win her side back possession. Ball flung into the middle, extra touch from the far side now. Moultrie with the dispossession, now in the middle. Runners to her right. Possession finds Podolsky, and instead of an elevated cross, she left one on the ground looking for Dana Castellanos, who was running in, and again, too far out ahead. Castellanos, one of those global name signings for Portland. only had 2 goals in 23 appearances last season, but remember her at Florida State as a star, then she moved on to Atletico Madrid, Manchester City, Bay Area, and then finally with Portland. One of those Florida State Seminoles that you hear about written in the lore of the program, 48 goals in 82 matches for the Venezuelan national. And we'll see if they can feature her a little bit more as that 9 up front. Portland playing what looks to be a 3-4-3, but they're really rotating that middle part of the field a little bit. Long ball, left touch line, nothing doing. And Dash are doing a better job of matching up player to player. You're seeing Portland pressure at midfield, play passing lanes once the Dash get into the attacking third. But on the response, Houston is more matchup right now, trying to force the Portland players to beat them in one-on-one situations. Heading towards our 16th minute of action. 0-0 our score between Houston and Portland. Fans continuing to pile in. The near side stands absolutely full. Where else to be on a Saturday in February than Indio, California, the largest city in the Coachella Valley, California's Colorado Desert. One of the hidden gems, people talk about Palm Springs, talk about Palm Desert, Rancho Mirage. This is where it's at, Empire Polo Grounds in Indio, California.
Is truck there?
Dash searching for their first real opportunity, cross in the middle.
Is this truck?
And a good disruption.
I haven't heard anything. I'm
Forcing
just
the header away.
sure
Pietra Torden was the 9 in the middle for the Dash.
Okay.
Doral, Florida native. Had her breakout rookie campaign last year with those 4 goals. In the Portland pink. And we have an injured Thorn on the field, so they're going to check on her. Give everybody an opportunity to hydrate as well. That's the thing about this kind of weather. You have the cold mornings, you have the warm late mornings into the afternoon. Cramps can certainly be abundant, making sure that hydration and stretching are a part of the routine utmost right now. But of course, as we head towards the season, those routines become solidified.
Yeah.
Houston searching for their identity under second-year head coach Fabrice Gautran. When you look at his career arc, this is the place that he could really mold a team into his defensive-minded, structured coach developmental identity. And Houston is in the perfect place to be able to do that, but it comes with a little bit more consistency, I think, than what we've seen in seasons past. By the way, the injured Thorn player is Hillary Beal, the goalie. Former #1 goalkeeper back in 2017's recruiting class out of Laguna Beach in Orange County. Had her professional breakthrough back in Australia with Western United when she was on loan from Racing Louisville. It's almost a difference in identity between these two teams. Portland is entrenched in rich history, success, and a standard that has been set here in the NWSL. Houston is looking for its own lore in this league. We mentioned that 2022 season being its most successful since the club started back in 2013, 10-6-6 that year, 4th place finish, best season for Houston, but they have not been able to find their footing, finishing outside the postseason the previous 3 seasons. Out of the injury timeout, Dash on the throw-in, but it is Portland able to retain possession at least for a moment. 50-50 balls become key, and you see coming from behind Patelski trying to force some pressure at midfield. And this one's going to trickle back to the defensive third. Podolski on the header. She was searching for Castellanos. Podolski in a bout for it. That Clanky Podolski matchup, two incredible players who can get it done at all three levels of the pitch. On the right touchline, that's the matchup to watch. You see Houston purposefully trying to keep possession away from number 11 in Houston, or rather number 11 in Portland. Thorns trying to build up through the middle. Or allow build up through the middle, I should say. This is the dash in possession. Ryan brought it back. Now it's Avery Patterson, the defender out of Jacksonville, Florida. Heavy cross in, headered out up top. Rainer Reyes searching for some space. Podolski goes back. Dangerous pass picked off here. And the dash now operating that attacking third with numbers. Ball into the box. And Rubby able to pump it off a Portland Thorn knee for her team's first cross. Mackenzie Rubby, another one of those young forwards on this roster. Had that late goal last match. Program's all-time leader in goals back at Virginia with 64 of them. Also had 164 points in 96 appearances with the Cavaliers. ACC Offensive Player of the Year back in 2015. She's had 175 NWSL appearances and 29 goals entering this season. Crosses in, middle of the road, cleared away for a moment. Ryan with the down, and ball is brought all the way back to Jane Campbell. Portland now gonna reset their defense. This is what they want. On a cross, you're forcing the dash to have to reset all the way back to their goalie, right where the middle and defensive thirds meet. Allows you to reset your defense and force the dash to have to reset your formation as well and try to rebuild continuity. Now some up-pitch pressure forcing quick touches. This possession in the middle, well done on the tackle. Coming for Portland. Houston content right now, playing all 11 back behind the ball. Maintenance on the touch by Moultrie, brought up to Podolski, and she'll have it tapped away by a dash. Throw-in coming here for Portland towards the attacking third. And another Portland Thorns player is down. They're trying to get Podolski on the near side, featuring her. Up the middle, Dana Castellanos then typically cuts. They have not been able to link up just yet, but you saw it a couple of minutes ago when Podolski was vying for the box. She had a through ball that was just a little out in front of Castellanos. But that's the offensive playmaking you're looking for from her. At just 18, she's one of the youngest players in the NWSL, and she was one of those early entry pro signing players for Portland after she had that accelerated rise through her youth and college campaign. She went to Alabama. She had 8 goals and 36 appearances in 2 seasons. Somebody who I think everybody's very excited for up in Portland. Of course, Podolski has that long-term upside piece for this attack. But it's about adjusting, and there's a big difference in pace and physicality at this level. You could have all the technical skill in the world, and we see it across the world of sports, the ecosystem that we all operate in. As Olivia Moultrie gets a round of applause from the fans here. Glad she's up and walking off under her own power. Another generational talent for this organization, signed at 15 after that landmark lawsuit removed the NWSL age restrictions. She's been a cornerstone piece for this club since 2021. Of course, you remember last year, she was named to the league's best 11 first team, and she was also the supporters group's player of the year, the Riveters up there in Portland, which is one of the most emblematic supporters groups in the U.S. soccer ecosystem. So hopefully Moultrie's okay as they check on her. Heading towards the 25th minute of action. We have not had stoppage time in any of the matches prior. I don't think we will. This is preseason. This is a time where you want everybody to get reps, to get some live game action opportunities, but you don't want to compromise anybody's progress as we head towards the regular season. And already 2 Thorns have gone down here in this match. Haven't even played the opening 30 minutes. Reina Reyes waiting on for the team in pink and cream-colored uniforms. And we're back to action. The defender from Garland tosses it in, and it's cut off no problem for Houston. Sort of a telegraphed pass, and now Houston's going to be awarded possession back. Boateng jumped in front of it. First season at Portugallo, Italy. Made her NWSL debut last September, I should say. It's her second season with the club. Here's a looping rainbow kick. Ryan's in pursuit. And a push from behind. She'll get whistled for the foul. Trying to say there. Reyes turned on the brakes to enforce the contact, but you could see the extension of the arms, which will warrant the whistle 9 times out of 10. Dane obeys, playing hot potato with her goalie. All trickling towards the box. It's cleared away for a moment at midfield. Neither team can regain full possession. Before it's forced out, they're going to give the throw in here to Portland. Dana Castellanos about 15 yards up the pitch from where they wanted that throw-in to happen, so they'll backtrack here towards the beginning of that middle third. 27th minute of action, and Portland is building something up. Near side cross to Podolski. She's got a couple of runners towards the box, but now she has some space. Setting things out towards midfield. Isabella obeys. Reyes tried to go a give and go. Somehow Podolski catches up to it before she's dispossessed. Great lockdown defense by Houston inside the box. Ryan leading the counter. That's a heavy touch down at midfield by Delaney Sheehan. Sheehan still searching for space, and she's able to get the throw in. Sheehan, the UCLA Bruin, also scored Gotham's first ever playoff goal back in 2023 when she was playing for Gotham. 25 appearances for the Dash last season, did have a goal. Not only did she score in the first ever postseason game for the Gotham, but she also was part of the championship winning season for that club. Of course, these rosters strewn with UCLA Bruins. You'll see a lot of UCLA, a lot of Duke, and University of North Carolina. Most recently, Florida State has been well represented as well. College soccer continues to be a big pipeline into the NWSL, but you are seeing players now being farmed from their local towns and then signed at 15, 16, 17. You're seeing players who are committed to schools that end up decommitting to go pro. Talent pipeline continues to show its youth here in the sport. No official stats being kept, at least on the broadcast. I can tell you that Portland has had the majority of possession, but Houston has operated more on the attack. Their goalie has been tested so far here as we head towards our 30th minute of action. Second ball enters the field of play. Haven't seen that since the old Yankee Polo Grounds when they would hide baseballs in the thick outfield grass to try and give outfielders an opportunity just in case they couldn't throw a ball in time. Not sure you can get away with that at this sport. Can't really get away with that anywhere after 1945. Also blown here as bodies collide, and Thorns will get a free kick. Moving quickly, trying to catch the defense out of position, but Podolski wasn't ready for it. That ball rifled past her. Despite the track and field speed from the 18-year-old, she just could not get the early jump on it. Portland now playing a little up-pitch pressure. Melidu, the Canadian out of Quebec, slid into that forward spot in between Castellanos and Podolski. This possession, here she is, first touch for her on offense, goes behind Castellanos on the ricochet dash, get it back. Lido had a goal in her debut season for Portland, coming by way of Portugal. Quite an illustrious European career. Started off in France, then Sweden, Spain, Norway, Austria, Portugal, and now up in the Pacific Northwest. I'm glad she was able to bounce around Europe a little bit and get a feel for the different climates, because for those who aren't familiar with the Pacific Northwest, yes, it rains a lot, but you also get microclimates all the way from South Medford all the way up north to the Dalles. And if you're unfamiliar with it, it can be quite shocking at times. It can be pouring rain one moment, gorgeous another moment, and then hailing. So if you have extensive geographical experience and weather experience, it might be able to, it might be less surprising, if you will, those weather systems up there. After spending 4 years at the University of Oregon myself, the vitamin D deficiency is real. Ryan brings it back for the dash. You can see Portland right now really playing with that counterattack mindset. Houston has dominated possession. They're patrolling around the middle third. The passing lanes have been sealed shut right now by the Portland defense. As the ice cream stand makes its way over to the fans in front of us. Ball towards the box and secured out of goal. If Houston's going to get the ball they're looking for, it's likely going to come with off-ball runs. You get the ball up above the box, and you have your attackers wide. You hope that you can get the first run or the first step on one of those defenders to open up the space in the lane to get a clean ball into the box. A lot easier said than done, especially by somebody who has never played professional soccer. Portland's going to bring in a couple of subs here. They don't make the announcement, so we'll do our best to relay them to you. Jane Campbell anchoring that back line at a goal right now. If you're Portland, maybe you can consider pressuring a little bit, catch the goalie on her back heel. Instead, it'll be another heavy through ball towards the box. Set up deep on the cross attempt near a post that's jumped on top. So a good build for Houston again, but that ball a little heavy, goes deeper than preferred, I would assume, for the dash. But it was a good setup for Kate Fossa, who just couldn't get it back into the middle cleanly enough. They are certainly going to keep featuring her on the attack when they can. Castellanos now playing on the right side. She was playing on the left side earlier. Podolski slid into the middle as well. All far side flag is up, and the first offside here of the morning has been called. When you're playing counter-attack mindset, you want to really stress those early runs. Of course, the antithesis, or the downside, I guess it's not the antithesis, that's not the right word. The downside of that is that those early runs can lead to offsides, especially for young players who are still, again, figuring out pace and pressure and the overall grit that comes with playing at the professional level. So Dash once again building. Ryan from the left. And a little too slow to it. But a corner coming here for Houston. That was McKenzie on the dispossession. All above the box. This is where Portland likes to force dispossession and build up their attack, but that is a soft touch after the juggle. Yasmin Ryan again. Flat-footed pass gets cut off and taken here. Clear it away. Portland possession. Not a ton of attacking action on either side. Again, Houston has been operating in possession towards their attacking third, but Portland, I've not seen a team, especially in the preseason, so comfortable playing their back line so close to goal consistently. Through ball cut off here and maintained by Houston. And despite what looked like a promising buildup, it was too heavy of a touch into the middle by Maggie Graham. Pressure being applied by Fossa, forcing the give up. Portland has it down the left touch line. Castellanos, who was on the right side a moment ago, has slid back, so she's kind of playing free position right now, almost like a roaming mid. You'll see number 10 assist the runs on the far side with the wingers, and she's been able to show her presence on the right side as well, the near side. All backtracked here as we hit the 37-30 mark of this first half, 0-0 score. Two teams looking to shake off losses from a week ago. On the final day of the Coachella Valley Invitational. No matter how you're watching or where you're watching, we appreciate you making us a part of your plans. Here's a ball that perhaps could have had a touch or two before being unleashed towards goal. It was a dispossession in the defensive third that turns into a one-on-one situation, but gotta have a little bit more emphasis on the shot than that if you're Yasmin Ryan. Portland looking to move once again, but nothing doing there. Whistle's gonna be blown at midfield for some contacts being made. Portland will get the free kick. Fans continuing to shuffle in here. First of 3 matches across the grounds. First of 2 here on field number 1. Angel City and Seattle Reign will be our weekend finale. Find us at field 2, Denver and San Diego FC will be, rather, San Diego Wave will be playing. Ryan on the dispossession, above the box. Clearing it far side, trying to utilize the width of the pitch here to give her team some extra options into the middle. It's not a lot of room to operate out there as Portland closes the door once again. That was Avery Patterson. Sarah Huntingame also on that far side for Houston. She'll take the throw in and give it back. Ball trickling back towards midfield, settling on possession. at Clanky, and she'll reverse it onto the near side. Matchup pressure defense, passing lane defense continuing to be the momentum shifter for Portland. Houston is continuing to force the issue on the attack, building up now above the box. Just nowhere to go for Avery Patterson. Dash awarded the throw-in after Berkeley was able to get it back. Fourth-year defender out of Liberty Township, Ohio, one of those Florida State Seminoles I was talking about. Ryan able to bring it down. Ball forced towards the middle. It's a soft touch, but on the turd, Rubby couldn't get there. It's off of her back. Ryan with a touch, but it's going to be tracked down here. Remember when I said Castellanos was playing positionless soccer? Well, she's now on the far, far side. As Portland will try to reset things here at midfield. Obeys. Lido swings it. Now it's McKenzie in space. McKenzie towards the box, trying to veer off a couple of defenders, splitting the pair. The ball is pushed back towards midfield where it's retained here. Jesse Fleming with an opportunity snuffed out in goal. Fleming out of London, Canada, another UCLA Bruin, Canadian captain and a world-class two-way midfielder. Came to Portland by way of Chelsea back in 2024 for what at the time was an NWSL record for transfer fees. Ryan in the box, lets one fly, and that one's gonna sail the Palm Springs. Not a bad place to end up. That was the real first heavy shot we've seen by either side. We've seen a couple trickle on the ground, some ground balls, if you will. But Portland will retain it here after a missed shot. Getting towards our 43rd minute, 0-0 score. Portland trying to change that, but some really nice defense will allow possession to return back to Houston. Sheehan swings it back, now it's Clanky. Clanky, the Houston native, not only homegrown soccer talent, but won a state championship as a distance runner back in high school. Pretty easy to see the connection between the two sports. If you're going to be successful as a runner, you can build tactile talent. You could certainly be successful as a soccer player. Here's the attack building up for Portland once again. Bodies collide, possession swings over to Houston. That was a moment where it felt like Podolski could finally break away, and that pass just was just a tad ahead of her. Shan on the swing, touch pass to Ryan. Yasmin Ryan brings it back and waits on it. Putting game. Ozzie gets it back before being dispossessed from behind. So once again, the Thorns are on the move. Can they force this buildup into a goal? Castellanos in space. Waiting for a pink jersey to give her some assistance. She does. This one set up near side now for Podolski. Into the middle. The shot is blocked off the right knee. Right. Possession change. Isa Boatian was the one who was able to get in front of it. But you could see Houston, as much as they're okay operating on the front foot in the attacking third, the double-edged sword is that a quick counter can really force your defense to have to work extra hard because you won't have as many bodies back. But we haven't seen Portland really build up the way they want. They haven't had as many runners. It's been a 3-on-3 break most of the time with the attackers. And that's what the preseason's for. It's meant to see where the holes are and how to fill them within the team's identity and frame. Portland clearly trying to play with some pace and a counter-attack mindset, but they haven't had enough attackers up on front playing with pace. Ball was intended for Castellanos. It's cut away here and brought back into goal. Jane Campbell sits on it, now unleashes it down the touchline. Portland will get it back here in the final couple of moments of the first half. We have had a couple of stoppages because of injury. There is no official stoppage time here in the preseason, so we are at the mercy of the official's whistle, which is pretty consistent with how it happens in the regular season as well. Thorns looking to build once again, trying to end the half on a high note. These two teams matched up in the 2025 regular season finale. It was a Portland 2-0 victory. Allowed them to keep their third place spot, eventually losing in the semifinals. Possession turns back over to Houston. Planky on the move. Watson tried to force it to the middle. Podolski gets on top of it, and Portland retains possession once again. Defense by the tandem of Podolski and Fleming. Ray is up, a push from behind, draws a whistle. Mimi Alidu coming up a little bit gingerly, looks like she's okay. Where Castellanos and Podolski have anchored that attacking core here in the first half as the whistle blows. And the first half comes to its conclusion. 0-0 between the Houston Dash and the Portland Thorns. Final day of the Coachella Valley Invitational. We'll return for the second half in a couple of minutes. You're watching Coachella Valley Invitational from Indio. Halftime inside the nation's premier preseason soccer tournament, the Coachella Valley Invitational. 0-0 between Portland and Houston in the finality of this incredible preseason tournament. Houston and Portland both trying to shake off losses last week. Portland lost to Angel City FC 2-1. Houston lost to Bay Area FC 2-1. And both teams really haven't had as many opportunities as you would assume, given their team identities. Houston has dominated possession. They've been able to operate in the attacking third, but Portland has locked the door down around the box. They played the counterattack, but neither team has really been able to test the opposing goalies, which is why you're seeing that 0-0 score maintained. Let's take a look at the schedule here. Around the grounds, midway through this one. 12 o'clock out behind us. That's coming up here in about 35 minutes. San Diego Wave and Denver Summit. How about the penultimate match ever for the new NWSL team out of Denver? Looking forward to that one behind us. And at 1:30 back on this field, Angel City and Seattle Reign. That'll round out what has been a phenomenal 3 weeks. An incredible job by the entire crew here, making sure that it goes as well as it can, and all the hardworking people throughout the Inland Empire to make this thing happen the way that it does. We'll return for the second half in a moment. 0-0 score between Houston and Portland. Second half is upon us here. Houston Dash, Portland Thorns 0-0 in the penultimate match of the Coachella Valley Invitational. After this one on this field, Angel City, Seattle Reign gonna battle it out to close out the weekend. But we still got a good one on hand, a gorgeous day in Indio, in California's largest city, inside of the Colorado forest. Desert rather. Jonathan Rifkin with you, our entire crew on hand, no matter how you're watching. Where you're watching, we appreciate you making us a part of your Saturday, almost afternoon plans. It started off in the morning. We'll take you into the afternoon on a day that could not get more pristine. It was a very wet week here in the desert, but the clouds have cleared. There's snow-capped mountains surrounding us and a pristine pitch getting ready for the second half of action between the Portland Thorns and Houston Dash. Sides will flip, so will the lineup for the most part for both these teams. This is what the preseason does. They don't announce them, they don't give them to us, so we'll do our best to let you know and communicate it as we move on here. Jane Campbell still in goal though for Houston. And Morgan Messner remains in goal for Portland. Of course, Portland still figuring out their goalie depth piece. Of course, the big news out of January for the organization, Bella Bixby announced she'd missed the entire 2026 season in a heartbreaking announcement for the team. But, of course, nobody would ever want to diminish the journey that she's on. But that does open the door in the goalkeeper conversation, as the Thorn now looking to build up their attack. And today, the audition, they're clearly placing Mester in a position of success. She came in for a half last week. She got the start here today, and she remains in goal here in the second half. Portland Thorns trying to get off the schneid here in the second half. Opening moments. Ball flung to Jesse Fleming. Brought back here for a reset at midfield. We haven't seen a ton of mid-pitch reset for Portland. They've allowed Houston to get up to the attacking third. They've played the passing lanes. They'll swipe possession back and put the pedal to the floor. Castellanos with a missed dribble. Somehow, though, it's still tracked down. Back up to her. Castellanos, a southpaw strike is blocked back. She'll track it down and give it up. Yasmin Ryan couldn't stay on top of it. Here's a clear away. Messner is going to get all the way to it. Some pressure before she quickly gives it up. Carolyn Calzada with the touch, bringing it near side. Heavy through ball, maintained, no flag. And actually, the ball was able to touch the near touch line prior to Farrah Walters trying to keep it in. Farrah Walters, one of the trialees here out of Scottsdale, Arizona. She was the WPSL National Player of the Week after a 6-goal, 4-assist performance for Estes de Sol, her club team. Incredible career at Duke, and now somebody trying to earn her way onto the roster. Also a U.S. Youth National Team pool player. Morgan Messner. Saw last season really as a depth goalkeeper for the organization. Got her minutes in tournaments and cup matches, but a trusted spot starter in those non-league competitions. Instead of the 2-3 spot, she's looking for the 1. Ball tipped towards the box, cleared back out. Dash still threatening. There's a mishandle there from Clanky as she tried to give it up on the near side to Delaney Sheehan. Turned into a goal kick. Played short here. Elevated towards midfield. And once again, possession building up for Portland, but the offside flag does come up. That was the quick check prior to the ball being flung to the near side. And Farrah Walters with a bit of frustration will try to force that ball back a couple of yards from where it should be placed. Linky able to make up the difference in yardage. It's a good run from Farrah Walters. That's what they want to see from her. As a trainee, or as a trialist, but it's a little bit early on the first step. Dash looking to dash ahead. Ball tipped back towards Messner and goal. Kate Fossa remains on the attack for Houston. As Portland will look for the counter. Great touch, clearing up some space on the near touch line. Reyes brings it back, resets things towards the middle. Another Portland trialist, Jenny Mithune out of UCLA by way of LMU and TCU. Playing in the midfield, wearing number 40. One of those elite center backs who is entering her senior year at UCLA, one of the top defensive anchors in the country, trying to earn her spot as well. So you see the trialists in abundance here for Portland. Air on the near side. And Mithune down towards the middle part of the field. And a whistle is blown as Portland will get possession a little bit closer up towards that far touch line. 5 minutes into the half, 0-0 remains our score. Again, no real threat by either team's attack towards their opposition's goalies. We haven't seen any one-on-ones, any real tests. It's still continuity and possession building, identity building, figuring out each coach's approach and trying to maneuver the pieces into play to allow those approaches to be as successful as possible. Of course, both teams have relatively new coaches at the helm. Sarah Loden, the interim head coach at Portland after the departure of Rob Gale back in December. Her lone season as a manager came in Houston in 2023, and now she's trying to get it back against her former team. Of course, Houston has the Southern California native, Fabrice Gautrat, out of Santa Clarita. In his second season, still working on shaping this club the quintessential way that he knows how, through developmental structure and that young core that he likes to build around. Thorns will get it back. You see Portland playing a little bit more aggressively here, trying to win possession back of the attacking third rather than allow Houston to build up into their attacking position. Castellanos, the free kick taker. And Castellanos waiting and unleashing. This one into the middle of the box, headed back and settled on the volley, elevated into the stanchion here. Unfortunately, no souvenir balls at the Coachella Valley Invitational. Farrah Walters gets her first shot of her weekend here in the Portland uniform. Jane Campbell once again to do the honors on the goal kick. Great backdrop, by the way. The palm trees, the snow-capped mountains. On one side, you have the high desert on the other. In full bloom, this could be a difficult ball for Messner, quickly getting the touch and the clear away before the pressure mounted. Ball backtrack to Reina Reyes. Here comes the buildup again. Reyes soaring down the touchline. The Alabama Crimson Tide brings it back and resets to Calzada. Calzada, another Georgian out of Sugar Hill, started her college career at Texas A&M, finished off last season at Notre Dame. Rookie defensive back signing for Portland. Last season at Notre Dame, helped the Irish to the ACC championship. Also an alternate defender and somebody who is hoping for a long and illustrious career as a backline anchor here in the NWSL. Nine minutes into the action here in the second half, 53.5 minutes into the match as a whole. 0-0 remains our score. Houston did a great job of maintaining control and possession towards their attacking third in the first half, but Portland played the passing lanes on the counterattack sufficiently enough to keep Houston off the board, however, not sufficiently enough to put themselves ahead. Portland playing a little bit more methodically here in the opener of the second half. Ball tracked down on the near side by Clanky. Pressure mounts, ball into the middle. Brought down by Ryan, but a heavy touch has it trickle away from her. Walters circling around will just clear it out of harm's way, and the Dash will get a throw in here towards midfield. Clanky ready to do the throwing honors. She has 18 caps between the U.S. U20 international teams. She was part of the 2024 U20 Women's World Cup bronze medal team. Really stout defender, just 21 years old as a homegrown player. Laney Sheehan ran out of space, but Houston maintains possession. Here's Clanky now. Back to Sheehan. She's from Northern California, Walnut Creek, a suburb east of San Francisco. Portland able to get it back to Reyes, trying to get into goal, and it's cut off, turning into a flick up above the crossbar. Second time Houston has tried to set up a 1-2 punch. That was Mackenzie Rubby, who was looking for her second goal of the weekend, rather of the tournament. She had the 89th minute goal last week in the 2-1 loss to Angel City. Reyes brings it back. Fans continuing to trickle in here for the day's festivities. Great to see a lot of the local youth soccer teams around. I see the Indio High School girls soccer team is here. I see Palo Verde girls soccer team is here. Some of the club teams are here. Representatives from lower division soccer clubs across the Southern California region are in attendance. This is an event that fills the needs of the entire spectrum of sports fans. Whether you're here for the ambiance and the vibes or you're here for the high quality action, there is something for everybody in the Coachella Valley Invitational. Castellanos playing in the middle. We'll see if they can get it to her in that direction they were searching for, but possession was cut off by Berkeley. A little telegraphed on the cross right there, but in a one-on-one situation, your featured striker in space, those are the chances you have to take as a winger. Campbell waiting on. Lets one fly down the far touch line. Ryan gets ahead on it. And stays with Portland. Castellanos. Swing to Reyes near side. Thorns looking to utilize their build-up identity to finally get in goal. Farrah Walters now on the touch. And the trialist brings it back on the reset. Looping it around to Reyes. On the cross, Clanky's able to get in front of it, leading to a Portland corner. Third corner of the match here for Portland. They went short the last time. They went far post on the first one. They have Jessie Fleming holding short. This one goes into the middle of the box by Castellanos. On the ricochet, she finds Fleming. A gorgeous way to get it to her. Far post, maybe a little too heavy. over everybody's head, but Pietra Torden tracks it down. Torden out of Doral, Florida, and Princeton. 4 goals in her breakout rookie campaign for Portland last year. Ball flung back on the reset to McKenzie. Back to Calzada. Ares. Little hot potato between the two. Houston playing defense similarly to how we saw Portland play in the first half, where they're letting Portland maintain possession. But once you cross midfield, you apply the pressure and play the passing lanes. They're playing a little bit more matchup as well. Trying to force Portland into half-pitch operations rather than their typical counterattack balance. Here's a nice buildup. Yasmin Ryan couldn't quite get there, though, on the quick clear away. It's Obeys. Isabella Obeys made her senior debut back in 2022 on the Denmark women's national team. She's had 14 caps since then. She's had a goal. One of those players who is targeted as Denmark's next-gen defensive core. Houston tracking towards the attacking third once again. We're 15 minutes into the second half, 60th minute of action. Here's a backdoor ricochet that's tracked down out of goal by Messner, rather. Mentioned how important these moments can be in Coachella Valley for some of these players as the offside flag is up. That's the catch-22 of a defensive third dispossession. If you have a striker who is behind the play and you try to prematurely get it to him, that flag will go up. On the midfield clear, possession swings back. All into the middle. And Portland's able to establish at least a little bit of offensive momentum for a moment, and here comes the trialist in space. A great opportunity to try and make her name known in the Portland pink, but some heavy defense shutting the door on that opportunity by Clanky. Wind really picking up here in Indio. It was a pretty windless morning that has since changed, 10-mile-an-hour gusts. Serving as a crosswind from far side to the near side of the pitch. Platoon swap coming in here for Houston at the 62nd minute mark. This is a tournament where you want to get as many legs onto the pitch as possible. Evaluation period for everybody. Of course, preseason games imperative to build the trust, that momentum into the regular season that begins in less than a month. We'll let you know the subs as they touch possession. We'll see if the fresh legs can thrust Houston into a go-ahead opportunity situation. Right now, though, it is Portland in possession. And they're searching for their own opportunities. Bodies collide. Houston gets it back. Castellanos appealing for a whistle as the ball is ping-ponged around towards the attacking third. And Messner's able to wait on top of it. They're back in goal again. You can see a little bit of overload being played as well by the defense. See if Portland utilizes the long ball to try and shift the field of play a little bit. All backtracked back to the goalie Messner. Along the right touchline, ball's flung. Portland once again trying to build up some continuity, and it's snuffed out once again. There hasn't really been a rhythm established either way. Houston was able to get their possession as Castellanos tries to loop one in, and it's just above the crossbar. Houston was able to develop some sort of rhythm in terms of possession in the first half. They have not been able to regain that here. Portland has tried to maintain their counter identity, but it has not come to fruition yet. There's a new goalie in, by the way. And Caroline DeLille, she got the second half start last week for Houston. Rookie signed out of UCF. After playing 2 years in Sweden, I should say. She started setting a program record 31 career shutouts at Central Florida. She was the American Athletic Conference Goalie of the Year. She played 2 years in Sweden, and now she's vying for a contributing role with the Dash. Clanky near side, operating towards the right corner. Ball forced into the middle and reset. Far post cross. Headed above the box. Back to Clanky. This time she puts it in the middle. It's ricocheted off a pair of players and into the back of the net. No! Is it jumped on top of? Did Messner get there before the ball crossed the plane? Houston says she didn't. Portland appealing that she did. The thumb comes up, and it's a goal for Houston. It's 1-0. Another look at it here. Flanky this time with a little screwball cross. And yeah, that ball definitely crossed the plane. Likely going down as an own goal against Isabella Obeys, who was the defender who had it ricocheted in. So an own goal for Obeys, and there's the response by Portland! Are you kidding me? And Houston's 1-0 lead is dashed off the board in the blink of an eye. Dana Castellanos with a little Cirque du Soleil here at the Coachella Valley Invitational. And the global name signee does it in style, burying it into the upper back nine of that net. Everybody in the crowd saying, "I didn't see it, I didn't see it." That's because we were all still mesmerized by the goal that happened 30 seconds ago. And that's what can happen on a dime here at the Coachella Valley Invitational. An own goal for Portland turned into a goal from midfield by Castellanos. And it's 1-1 heading towards the 68th minute. What a moment. If you ever want to see serotonin and dopamine rise in real time, come to one of these events. You'll never need to take a supplement again. Both teams shaking it off as we're back to the stalemate. So Obeys with the own goal, Castellanos with the goal. Portland has both goal scorers on the board. Unfortunately, one goes for the other team. But an electrifying spark from the Venezuelan. Houston, though, looking to get it back. Clanky gets it off the shoulder of Reyes, and it's a throw in here for Houston, looking to move. That's Kirk Van Zaten out there, by the way. Second-year player on the club out of Notre Dame. Kiki Van Zaten playing that 10 role in the attacking mid. There they are searching for him. She has Clanky to her right. It's a foot race for possession. And it's a goal kick coming for Portland. Dana Castellanos, a moment living rent-free in the heads of all who are lucky enough to see it. There's plenty of Seattle Reign fans watching, and whenever a Portland player can get a Seattle Reign fan to cheer, you know that you did something special. It's like an Ohioan getting a Michigander to cheer. Those two states typically don't see eye to eye. After spending 4 years at the University of Oregon, I feel like I can speak from experience. Heading towards our 70th minute of action. It was 0-0 at halftime. It's 1-1 now, and both goals came within 30 seconds of each other of real time and maybe 10, 20 seconds of game time. Reyes on the touchdown, the near sideline. Or touchline, I should say. Alzade brings it back. Obeys, swings it far side. Heavy touch goes through. And Delisle settles on it. Rookie goalie trying to break into the rotation. She had those two pivotal PKs saved in the 2022 NCAA tournament in the shootout against North Carolina. Here's Obeys. Now Portland operating as the controller of possession, but they haven't really been able to do much with it. This is what Houston wants them to do. I think Houston has really shown that they're comfortable keeping Portland in those midfield sets rather than allowing them to unleash the counterattack and get into space. Flag comes up. And we're going to see four players for PDX entering. Ana Castellanos is going to take a seat after an electrifying moment, along with a couple of her counterparts. Looks like Reyes is coming off, along with Obeys, who has the own goal. So a new defender, a new midfielder, more trialists coming in here for Portland. Electra Sponstra coming in on the near side. She was that rotational attacker last season with the team. Hoping to be inserted more after being traded from Kansas City back in 2024. 73rd minute of action. Sun continuing to pierce down here amongst the Coachella Valley faithful. Here's a tip into the middle, a little heavy by Van Staten, and now it's a foot race to keep possession in play. The Dash will maintain it here. Van Staten. That's Kat Rader, number 22. She gets dispossessed, and Portland gets it back. Maggie Graham comes flying out of the back line. Check that. That is not Maggie Graham. That's Kiki Van Zaten. Now it's Clanky. Back to Delisle in goal. Both teams sitting on possession. We haven't seen too many risks being taken beyond the goal by Castellanos. As this match wears on. And And as some of these trialists and players trying to extend their opportunities in this league, you might see those risks becoming more abundant. This is where that overload defense gets responded to. Earlier I posed the question if Portland was going to start switching the plane of field from the touch in between the touch lines, because we're seeing Houston play that overload a little bit more, and they finally just did. Possession trickles out and turns back over to Houston. That was Renee Lyles, number 41, one of the other trialists. Portland possessing more trialists than any other team here, at least on this Saturday of the Coachella Valley Invitational. And Zatin is the forward en route to the long through pass. She just can't maintain it as Portland's able to catch up and get it back. And actually that's Messiah Bright, my mistake, who's in the 10 hole. Messiah Bright out of Dallas, TCU product in her third season with the program. She was the primary attack piece last year. Had 2 goals for the organization after arriving via the trade from Angel City. And possession comes back to them. So they have Messiah Bright in the 9 spot. And Zatin playing just behind her. And Clanky's going to come out now for the dash. '76th minute of action, 1-1 score. Both goals off of a Portland Thorn player. Obeys had the own goal, immediately responded to by Dana Castellanos' midfield scourger. Denver and San Diego about to kick off behind us. I hear the San Diego Wave faithful being well represented. Heavy through ball. Messiah Bright's not going to get there. Messner with a flat clear away. And yet Portland still maintains possession. Finding the space on the near side. Houston now playing with a bit of pressure. Evelina Dulian out there, number 7, in pursuit. Second-year forward out of Sweden. And a goal in 13 appearances last year. Messiah Bright anchoring the attack right now. Portland looking to respond. Here's a through ball on the left side. Not a lot of runners to the right, but possession has to be maintained first. On the clear away, it becomes a throw-in. Alexa Spanstra giving chase to it. Sydney Cheeseman, one of the other trialists here. Out of Louisiana State University, started her career at UNC. Gonna throw it into the corner. Spanstra can't keep control, and Houston gets it back. Sydney Cheeseman was at that moment last month where she was called up to the U23 women's national team. She's been training with the senior team as well. Dash looked to be back in their 4-3-3, by the way. Trying to anchor the back line and keep possession, allowing their form to take shape as they move up all 3 levels of the pitch, eventually settling in the attacking third. But again, we haven't seen them really threaten much, besides the clanky ball into the middle that went off Obeys into the back of the net, which was an own goal. Free kick coming for Portland. '79th minute. A game that was 0-0 in the first 45 saw 2 goals in 30 seconds. Elevated ball heading towards the box, and a great job from behind, flying in. Getting out of harm's way was Carolyn Calzada. She's having a very nice game in that middle part of the back line. Houston searching for their own momentum right now. Here's Dulian. Moving one on the far side, or the near side to Van Zaten. Now Dulian trying to battle for space. Forced out of the box, gives it up. Westphal back to Dulian. As Kristen Westphal, a little too deep. Ball cut off. Maintained in play for a moment. Houston keeps it in. On the turn, now above the box comes possession. Portland trying to anchor the middle and force a tough pass. Bright on the far side, running out of room. Houston maintaining that pressure. Portland not trying to give an inch. Both teams lost 2-1 a week ago. This final 10 minutes of the preseason could really help or hurt. Some of those silver linings you're looking for coming out of these games is there's a header that falls short, but the right idea from cross into goal scoring opportunity here for Houston. That's the second time they've had that. Another opportunity to take a look. I think that first touch prior to the cross being made was just a tad too heavy, which is why you saw the slide into the cross rather than a clean balanced kick into the box. Portland with a sigh of relief there. Behind us, San Diego FC scored 4 minutes into the action against Denver. Ball parried along the touchline. Comes to Houston. Houston's done a good job of maintaining possession dominance over the last 5 minutes. Really, since the platoon swapped for both teams, Houston has regained its possession-heavy identity. And it's something that Coach Fabrice Gautrat likes to emphasize. Last week after the loss to Bay City, he said that they got the jitters out, and he tells his young players that you fit in, you are meant to be here. He tries to shake any sort of imposter syndrome away from the team. Oh, here's a ball, kept on the ground, set up for a perfect shot that was closed down by that Portland Thorns defense. It's the second iteration of the cross we've seen here from Houston. Portland now looking to counter. Great move in possession here for the Thorns. A couple of style points, a feed into the box. That was Pietra Torden who was doing it herself. Houston doing their best version of squeezing possession out of the middle. And they'll get the free kick here back in their own box. But how about Torden? Getting some oohs and ahs from the crowd. All Ivy Leaguer after 3 seasons at Princeton. Last year had a breakout rookie campaign. She had her first pro goal in her first start against Houston in the 4-1 win in Texas. Of course, she scored in the CONCACAF Women's Champions Cup as well in the 3rd place match in the win against Club America. She was the NWSL Rookie of the Month back in June, so expect Torden to continue to rise here in her 2nd season in the Portland Thorns uniform. Here she is, forcing a dispossession right on cue. A striker who can play at all 3 levels of the pitch. Dash will get it here as we head towards our 84th minute of action. On the throw and ball ping-ponged around. Free kick coming here. And a first yellow being shown of the match as well. Saw 2 last week. Jenny Imathon getting shown the yellow. Trialist trying to stop the Houston attack from building up. 5.5 minutes to go here. Remember, stoppage time, not much of a thing in the Coachella Valley Invitational. There was a courtesy extra minute gained in the first half after some Portland Thorn players went down with injuries. Both got up under their own power. Great to see. One was Moultrie as well. Not that you want to see anybody go down, but fan favorite and a star for this team seems to be okay. Passing lane pressure abundant for Portland. Here comes the counter once again. Houston trying to get back on track defensively. Torden in space. Torden in the box. Shot is blocked by DeLille. Cleared away to the far side. First time we've seen a one-on-one today with the goalie. First time we've seen the goalie come out on top in that moment. You could see a perfectly placed ball right above the box. The pair of defenders split in between. But as a goalie, you're taught, stay on your line, but squeeze the space on the near post, trying to eliminate the wide margin of error. And that's exactly what happened. Torden really only had a small spot to be able to take advantage, and she couldn't. So Portland gets the corner. Torden on the touch. She pounded it directly off the pitch. Ball continues to ping pong around. Thorns get the throw in here. 3.5 to go. And on the throw in, some contact to give it back to Houston. Through ball near side, space being operated within. Good first run by Westfall. Not enough room really to do much damage thereafter, but she's going to let that one trickle out of play for a throw-in. Kristen Westfall out of Brecksville, Ohio. Veteran right back with 10 pro seasons of experience. Drafted by Boston. And she played for Seattle, Portland, San Diego, and now with Houston on the throw-in. Two different versions of the game now being played. One is the identity you want to keep on both sides. And the other is you're up against the time now. So you want to do your best to set yourself up for the best possible outcome, which ideally would be a goal. At the same time, you know that time is of the essence. You don't want to give your opposition any opportunities. So possession turned into goal-scoring opportunities on both sides, I think, is the name of the game, but the sense of urgency can also work against you. But if you're Portland, I think you're satisfied. Now, this is one of the preeminent NWSL organizations. They have 3 league titles. They won the inaugural one. They won one in 2022. And they're a team that has incredibly high expectations. They finished 3rd last year. They make it to a semifinal, and they still agree to part ways with their head coach. But technically wise, they haven't given up a goal to Houston. The one on the board for the dash was an own goal by Obeys, the Danish defender. Immediately followed up by Dana Castellanos' thrilling midfield rocket into the nylon. Final minute of action between Houston and Portland. 30 minutes after this one, Seattle and Angel City will battle it out to finish things up here at the Coachella Valley Invitational. Free kick coming here for Houston, perhaps their final opportunity in the attacking third. Westfall, the runner on the right. This one's into the middle. On top of it is Van Zatten. Squeezed out of space, but she quickly gives it up. Sheehan. Back to Van Zatten. A little deep near side cross is cleared away. Dasher going to get the throw in as we cross the 90th minute plane. We'll see here how much of a threshold the officials give in terms of allowing play to continue. First half got a courtesy 60 seconds. Stoppage time. Houston trying to reset things with pace. They know that they might have the final opportunity on offense and they want to take advantage. Esther's on top of it. If she clears this one away, I'd expect to hear the whistle blow. Here's the clear away, and play continues, at least for the moment. Leedy was dispossessed. And Zatten brings it back on the reset here for Houston. Back line build up. Officials allowing them to play at least for the moment. Heading towards our 92nd. Through ball, right touch line. Bright gives chase to it, but the offside flag is up. Official looking at his watch. And play goes on. Until it doesn't. 1-1 final here between Portland and Houston. An own goal, giving Houston the early lead, or the first lead, I should say. But that lead was short-lived as Dana Castellanos has the thrilling moment of the weekend so far, a midfield puncture immediately following the goal to bring things level at 1-1. Both teams played well. We saw a handful of trialists get their moments, and it'll be up to the coaches and the organizations to siphon out the rosters as we head towards the regular season. That's going to do it for us here. A huge thanks to our entire crew. Man at the top chase, my name is Jonathan Rifkin saying so long and goodbye from the Coachella Valley Invitational. 1-1 score between Portland and Houston.